this is Adam.
Hi, it's Richard Branson.
Hi, Richard. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. True pleasure. I've been a huge fan of your adventures for so many years, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed every minute of the documentary, Don't Look Down.
Thank you again.
Yes.
Delighted.
Yes. So we'll jump right in here. I know that you're on a tight schedule. While I was watching the film Don't Look Down, Richard, I kept thinking to myself, wow, Richard Branson truly doesn't see fear the way the rest of us do. Your mom, Eve, said that your upbringing was to think of other people, but fear, anger, and jealousy needed to be squashed, and I love that. What were some of the things that your mom and dad did to instill these qualities in you?
They wouldn't let us watch television. We had to be out doing things. They would, famously push me out of a car and, when I was 6 and tell me to make my own way to grandmother's house. They would put us on a bike in pouring rain and make us ride a couple of 100 miles to the seaside. They would much rather we were climbing trees and rescuing cats than sitting inside. So they would, they wanted us to be, in a nutshell, doing things rather than watching other people doing things.
That's great. What would you say was the most important thing you learned during your experience actually in the balloon, and how has that affected your following business decisions?
You have to stay calm under fire, and sometimes literally fire. Meaning the fire on the roof. If you're facing death, you've got two choices. One is you curl up and give up, or the other one is you fight tooth and nail to try to survive. And I suppose because of my days of being an entrepreneur before I went on the balloon trip, where I was often having to fight to survive in business, that was very helpful when it came to fighting to survive an adventure. And you've just got to do everything you can to think, concentrate on what you have to do to try to give yourself the best chance of getting out of a really precarious situation. And then you need a lucky star above you to guide you home. And we were fortunate to have a lucky star above us guiding us home.
Several times.
Exactly.
Do you feel that every entrepreneur needs to be a bit of a daredevil adventurer to succeed?
I think every entrepreneur is a bit of a daredevil adventurer. Just by being an entrepreneur, I think you fall into the category of being an adventurer. You're trying to create something that nobody's ever created before. You're trying to do it better than anybody's done it before. You're fighting all the time to make it the best. And so there's not a big difference between being an adventurer and being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur, you're protecting against the downside. The downside could be your company going bust. If you're an adventurer, you're protecting against the downside. The downside is potentially your life. So, so there is some difference, but it's still, there's still some similarities.
I agree 100%. I think that aspiring and seasoned entrepreneurs will really resonate with the film. What do you hope that Don't Look Down teaches the latest generation of entrepreneurs?
Never to give up. I mean, I think it sounds a slightly corny statement, but fight to survive. And obviously, ultimately, in business, if you fight to survive and you don't, just pick yourself up the next day and keep trying again until you do succeed. decided that it was too much to continue our ballooning adventures in a film, but we went on to do 4 attempts of going around the world. We ended up finally actually crashing into that Pacific, which we so narrowly avoided before. But anyway, that's another story. And but we still haven't given up in our quest to go the whole way around the world. And one day, maybe when I'm in my 70s or 80s, we'll find it cheaper.
I believe in you. Obviously, you truly love personal challenges. That's kind of been your life story. Learning to skydive for this adventure, learning to fly a balloon. Are you currently working on anything that you feel like is a new personal challenge or any upcoming publicity-driven adventure right now?
It started as a publicity-driven adventure, but very quickly it became a real personal adventure, the ballooning. The space is the frontier that we're trying to crack, and I'm in training for our space program, which is nearly back on track, and I hope to be going up with Virgin Galactic I'm not giving any dates, but in the not too distant future. So that will be that would be a sort of culmination, I suppose, of all these adventures, and hopefully we'll be able to involve many more people in the years to come. And I'm afraid I'm being nudged to be told that I'm going to have to go somewhere. But
nope.
Do you think you have a right?
I sure do. Thanks so much for your time, Richard. You're a true inspiration and been a mentor to me through my entrepreneurial journey. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for troubling to watch the film.
You bet. Thank you, Richard. Bye-bye.